Blessings everyone, this is Chris Kennel from therawadvantage.com, registered holistic nutritionist, raw food lifestyle coach. Today we're getting into a little bit of a freaky, scary topic. Confessions of a raw vegan. Woo!
Baby, I like it raw. Raw Advantage likes it raw. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Hey!
Alright, so let's get into this video. Now, I'll admit I've thought about this for a while and I've had some fear and reservations about it due to the judgment that could come on it, but I really want to let that go. And with everything going around in social media and within the community, I think this is a really important topic. Now, what is a confession? A confession is an admission of guilt, an admission of wrongdoing. Truthfully, this isn't that, because although I did make some food choices that don't totally align with what I normally do or teach, this video is more a proclamation, a declaration for more conscious, loving, supportive thoughts, words, and actions towards self and towards others. My goal here is to help you learn and grow through my experiences and insights I've had from that so that you can have an easier time on this raw vegan path. Now, veganism and raw food, they're my main goals. I want to make this as easy for you as humanly possible, while at the same time making it as attractive as possible to bring other people in. All too often I see guilt, shame, and judgment around food choices, thrown at each other, swallowed down ourselves, and this is not really healthy, physically, mentally, or spiritually. Generally, this judgment comes from a dualistic thought, the thought that certain food choices are good and other ones are bad, this is right, this is wrong, this is gonna bring me success, this is failure. And what this does is it brings up a lot of stress, brings up a lot of judgment, and it separates us from our true essence of oneness. In my honest opinion, the truth is there is no good, bad, just choice and experience. Whatever we choose, we're going to experience the ramifications of that. That doesn't make it good or bad, right or wrong. It just has predictable consequences. I'm a huge believer in experiential growth. I truly believe that if we resist what we really truly want, it's going to persist and keep hitting us harder and harder and harder. Now, how does this relate to food? If there's something we truly want, I really firmly believe in consciously, deliberately, and with lots of compassion and love for self, choosing it, making it a meditation, feeling it 110% so that we can experience it fully and let it go. Now, if you want to get a little bit more deep into emotional eating in this subject, check out my video up here about emotional and binge eating, finding peace and ease. It goes really in depth into that topic. When I first got into raw food, I had this dualistic thought. I basically felt that if I just did this perfectly, I would succeed in everything and my dreams would come true. And I felt that eating strict raw food was perfect and eating anything but simple raw food was total failure and made me a worthless human being. Now, obviously that created a lot of stress. That made it really hard. When I found myself in a really low place, I chose to eat really low vibing foods to match that frequency, and this just brought me into a downward spiral because I thought, hey, if I did this, I'm a piece of crap, I might as well just keep on doing this and roll further down the hill. Now, what I learned was that those feelings affected me more than the food did. The food, it had an impact on me, but it was only for a couple of days and weeks at the most, whereas those feelings of judgment and guilt and shame that I pushed down inside myself, they affected me for a way longer period of time. Now to get into the actual choice that I made. A few months ago, my girlfriend came down to visit me. She's from Sweden, and she asked about what typical Canadian cuisine was. The first thing that came to mind for me was poutine. Now poutine, if you don't know, is French fries with cheese curds and gravy. When I went vegan 13 plus years ago, there was no vegan cheese. When I went raw vegan 12 and a half years ago, there's definitely no vegan cheese that was similar to dairy cheese, right? So since Daiya cheese came out about, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I've been curious. I've talked to other people, they've had it and they really loved it, some didn't like it, but I've been curious enough that I actually thought I do want to try this sometime. But I've never been curious enough to try it myself. So when I shared with my girlfriend that poutine is a pretty famous Canadian food and she wanted to try it, I said, well, let's make a bunch and I'll try it too. This actually did lead me into wanting to try other foods I haven't had in a long time with the Daiya cheese. So I had a handful of meals. We had the poutine, we had nachos and cheese, we had vegan gluten-free vegan cheese pizza, as well as rice and beans and East Indian, because East Indian used to be my all-time favorite. I really did enjoy those experiences. I'm in no way, shape, or form making this video saying I'm getting off the raw food diet. In fact, it only strengthened my connection to the raw food diet. It really showed me through the days afterwards how I felt physically when I separated the guilt and shame from those choices, how I feel about them. And while I did enjoy them while I was eating them, I didn't feel good for a day and a half, 2 days, 3 days afterwards. And it did leave some residue of some addictive thought patterns and mentality. You know, again, to thine own self be true. I also wanted to try this because I wanted to see if I still had those addictive tendencies, and I did, but it was to such a small degree it didn't really worry me, and in fact it was a pretty positive experience. I felt better about myself, I felt better about my food choices, and I recognized how far I'd come. And again, I really just want to share my experience, be open, be authentic, and share what I'm feeling and thinking and seeing, and hopefully it helps you to be a little bit easier on yourself. You know, 2017 is coming up. New Year's resolution to come back into heart space, to breathe into self, to be easier, more compassionate, loving, and supportive of ourselves and others. Give ourselves that huge helping of love and acceptance. The more we act from the heart, the more accepting and loving we are, the more it's going to vibrate outwards and be more attractive to people to come into this lifestyle, to take that extra initiative to treat themselves phenomenally well, and to grow in conscious thought, word, and action. I really hope that this video helps you out somehow. You know, my intention for the new year is to start making more videos, more topical videos, kind of intense subjects like this. If you have any thoughts, any things you want me to talk a little bit more on, let me know below. Like, subscribe. We'll be seeing you in the new year. Hope you have an awesome one. Much, much love.
Confessions. Oh, do you still love me? Don't forget to click here to get your 2 free ebooks. Plus, if you want to learn more about emotional and binge eating, finding peace and ease, definitely check out this video post. Excited to announce my new iPhone app, free with 101 frickin' awesome recipes, Terry retreat treats, food combining charts, shopping carts, and more.